how my free good deed ruined two 25-year-plus relationships. Background: my husband and I had to move in with his grandparents, GP, during the virus when I lost both my jobs and my husband's work contract ended. It worked out well. They're in their 70s, we are late 20s, and we jumped in with helping them around the house, picking up groceries since they're both high risk, yard work, and long overdue deep cleaning. They let us bring our dog and both cats. Wonderful, amazing people. While we were looking for jobs, we still helped with bills, and now that we both work again and are looking at buying a house, things are still wonderful amongst us all. Now, during lockdown, we ran errands for them and a lot of their friends, mostly neighbors, also seniors and high risk. We never took payment for gas or any extras, and only accepted money for groceries, because we couldn't afford 10 families' groceries on our savings. One of these families lived about 15 minutes away, and were grandparents' old neighbors of 20 plus years. They remained friends through the last 7 years or so of not being next door, and often talked on the phone or saw each other. We'll call them Karen and Bob, CB. They seemed pretty normal, always grateful when we'd drop off groceries, even understanding when the stores were out of certain things or specific brands. Bob doesn't really do/say much. This problem actually started a month ago, when grandparents decided they wanted the driveway and sidewalks pressure washed. Papa showed me how to use it, and I fell in love with it. It's nothing fancy, just a basic model pressure washer, but it was so satisfying. It took me 2 days to finish the driveway, and I offered to do a lot of the neighbors too that I'd met/made friends with when I dropped off groceries. I was only working one job, had a lot of free time, and it made me feel needed. Most of the time, they'd bring me out a snack and drink, and we'd chat when I took a break from the Florida heat. It was great. Enter Karen and Bob. Karen and Bob were scheduled to come over for dinner. I was finishing up a house a few doors down the street when I saw their car coming and waved, finished up the job, and rolled the washer back home. I showered, and we all had dinner. When Karen asked why I had been working down the street, I basically told them I just liked doing it. I thought nothing of it when she remarked that their driveway could use a good washing. I agreed to do it on my days off over the course of a week or two, but I like to sleep in, so I'd get a late morning start. She said that was fine. Next day, 8 a.m. I'm at work when Karen calls. "Where are you?" "I'm at work. Is everything okay?" "I thought you were going to wash our driveway." "I am. I'm off in 2 days, and I'll get started on it then." "Oh, okay. I guess that's fine." I hung up, mildly confused. 2 days later, 8 a.m., another call. "Where are you?" "In bed. I worked till 2 a.m. last night. My alarm is set for 10. I'll be there by 11. "You said you'd wash the driveway today." "And I will. I'll be there around 11. "Oh, well, I was hoping you'd get started early." "I can do 10, but I'm going back to sleep now." "Fine." So I go, get up earlier, eat, and haul the washer up a ramp into the truck and head over to Karen and Bob's house. Now, Karen and Bob have a huge driveway, one of those upside down U half loop ones that's double wide for 2 cars, and it's long. I'm there for 3 hours. It's about 97 degrees outside and climbing, 100% humidity, and I go through my water bottle. So I turn off the washer and knock on the door and ask to fill my water bottle. "You didn't bring water?" Me, laughing because it's Florida and I think she's joking. "No, I did. It's just really hot out and I'm out. Can I fill it up with some ice water?" Karen, visibly irritated. "I guess." Weird. But I go back out and work another couple hours. I'm probably about a third of the way done when I call it a day. I'm hot, I'm tired, my left hand hurts from clenching the trigger, she's being weird about water, and I'm hungry. So I go unhook the hose and start loading the washer up when she comes out.
"Where are you going?"
"Home? I'll be back in a couple days when I have my next day off."
"No, you need to finish."
"I'm sorry, what?"
"You need to finish my driveway."
"I will. I just can't finish it today. It'll take me another 10 hours or so to finish." Karen makes a fuss, but I'm adamant that I'm leaving. I need to eat, rehydrate, and the washer is almost out of gas anyway. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional. I'm not a company. I don't have employees or a partner in business. I don't even have an industrial strength machine. I'm just some bored girl with a small washer that thinks it's fun and doesn't mind helping people. I should have stayed gone. I got a voicemail the next day at work saying how Karen and Bob are both unhappy that their driveway looks half finished, blah blah blah. Then, the next day, Karen calls and texts me multiple times, which I ignore other than to say I'm at work, can't talk, I'll be there tomorrow. My phone starts ringing the next day at 7:30 with,
"Are you coming at 8? Please be here by 8 a.m. Don't forget water."
I call back. Hey Karen, there's a thunderstorm right now that's supposed to last most of the day. If it clears up, I'll come over for a while, but I'm not doing it in thunder and lightning.
You promised you'd come today. The driveway looks awful.
I'm sorry, but it's not safe to be out there with a pressure washer in a thunderstorm.
I expect you to be here tomorrow then, at 8.
I work tomorrow. I can come the day after. Karen has the bright idea that I call off work because she, quote, hired me to do her driveway and I haven't finished it yet. I say no, I'll be there in 2 days. Cue 2 more days of passive-aggressive voicemails and messages. But I show up with a cooler of ice water and food. Work another 5 or so hours with her peeking through her windows at me anytime I turn the washer off. It's loud as heck. No friendly chit-chat, no drink or snacks offered. Not that I expected it, but still. The only talking we did was when I took a break to eat lunch. She opened her door long enough to ask what I was doing, and if I could, quote, not sit on her porch steps. It was the only shaded place to sit, so I sat on my tailgate in the sun and scarfed down my lunch. I packed up that day with about 4 more hours of washing to do. Again, huge freaking driveway versus tiny little washer. I get home exhausted, and grandparents ask if I have a second to chat after my shower. Apparently, Karen and Bob had just called them multiple times, saying I was being lazy and just sitting around her house, and she wanted me to finish her driveway and leave. It wasn't like me to just sit around ever, especially in someone else's home. So they asked what was going on, and I told them about the job. It took me almost a week to get back over there. I received constant texts/calls about how I was slacking. I was a bad person for saying I'd help poor old people, then leaving them to finish such a laboring task and the like. I finished the driveway in one shot, didn't speak one word to Karen, and only spoke to Bob to tell him I was finished and returned his garden hose. Never even said thank you. I went home happy to be done. Chalk it up to a lesson learned, and just avoid Karen and Bob when they come over. We're moving out soon anyway. Bob and Papa were really good friends, and Mimi and Karen were really good friends too. Who cares if they didn't like me? Well, remember how I said grandparents are just super amazing people? They cared. They cared a lot that I was giving up my days off, coming home exhausted, being used, and lied about. So one day, they were going to have lunch at Karen and Bob's house when Karen met them out front and lamented on her driveway being full of brown spots I had missed. She demanded they make me come back and fix it, and how I hadn't pressure washed the porch or the steps or the house. It just looked horrible to have a half-clean driveway and a dirty porch and house. Papa knows I pride myself on my work, paid or not. I'm OCD with the washer. That's why I like it so much. So he asked her to see the spots I'd missed, and she started pointing out brown rocks. Brown rocks in the concrete of her driveway. She really thought that pressure washing the rocks would make them match the concrete, and clearly I was too lazy to do it right. I didn't get exact words from grandparents, but Karen had a meltdown about my husband and I being leeches on them, which landed them in an argument that ended both friendships. Lunch being canceled, and the end of the story. Or so I thought. This was all a month ago, but I'm writing this now because Karen and Bob have both reached out to me and grandparents. Not to patch things up or apologize or even say thank you. They want us to pay them because their water bill went up because I used their water hose to run the pressure washer. The only response they got was a written out receipt from me for my hourly rate at my current job, times the number of hours I was there for the driveway and had spent picking up their groceries and running errands. A rental fee for the washer per day, the total of gas I had spent running the pressure washer, and from the beginning of my grocery/errand runs for them to the last day I was there with the note at the bottom. I'll pay up when you do. I just don't understand some people. Even though they got something completely for free, and it was good, Karen and Bob found a way to complain about it. But hey, this video is also free, so would you mind pressing the like button? Anyway, OP, if you want to come power wash my driveway, I promise I won't complain. How to get rid of a pool table. My parents bought a move-in ready house that had a pool table in the screen room. None of us really used it. It was a buffet table during Thanksgiving and a gift wrapping station at Christmas, and that's about it. It's a shame too, because this was a high-grade pool table. Full-sized, super sturdy, and a set of 6 adult cues and 2 children's cues to boot. So they decided to give it away. Free pool table plus set of 8 cues, free, pickup only. The first message was from a guy who asked why it was free, refused to believe that they simply didn't want it, then said he'd take it if they'd deliver it, and finally called them a-holes when they reminded him it was pickup only. The second guy said he would take it, but then looked up how much it would cost to move a pool table, $800 to $1,200 depending on the company, then demanded they deliver it. Third was a guy who said he would take it, said he was getting friends to move it, said he would be there tomorrow, said he was on his way, said he was an hour out, then never showed up and never messaged again. Luckily, both my parents work from home, so they didn't lose a day of work. The fourth guy said he'd take it if they'd deliver, was reminded it was pickup only, then complained that it was too expensive to hire pool table movers. To which my parents replied, that's why it's free. The fifth and sixth guys were repeats of the fourth, the seventh was a repeat of guy 3, and the eighth a repeat of 4, 5, and 6. After the 8th choosing beggar, my parents got fed up and removed the ad. They considered taking an axe to it and putting the table out for the garbage truck in pieces. But then, Mom got an idea. They looked up pool table movers in the area, found a quote for $950, then put a new ad on Craigslist. Pool table plus set of 8 cues, $1,200, free delivery. See where this is going? Within a day, a woman messaged my parents about the table, haggled the price down to $1,000, and sent the money via Venmo. My parents then proceeded to take that $1,000, hired the pool table movers for $950, gave them the address to send it to, and gave the movers a $50 tip before they left. And that screen room has never looked better. That's just absolutely hilarious. If a deal seems too good to be true, I guess sometimes it is. I almost wonder if those people who were like haggling when it was free maybe saw the listing later when there was an actual price attached to it and were like, oh, see, I knew it was a fake listing. I'm glad I didn't fall for that. Get berated to sell a football shirt. Don't know if this belongs here. Context. I'm 16 and collect football, it's football, not soccer, shirts. I'm sad and can tell the difference between real and fake. So I was recently out wearing one of my PSG shirts, which retail for about £65, but it's quite rare. I walk past a girl, about 4, in the same shirt with Lionel Messi on the back. I immediately point out to my mom it's fake, as the spacing between the letters are different to what's real. She was wearing the full kit, socks and all. As I walk past her, her presumed mom, maybe 30, taps me on the shoulder and asks how much for the shirt. Bear in mind it's a men's medium. She says it's for her kid, who loves it, and wants to match her sister. No kid in sight, but okay. She holds out £20 and asks for it, saying that's the same she paid for her daughters. Her husband walks up and looks at me with a death stare, as to say, give it to her. With my nerdy knowledge, I clap back, saying there's a big difference between real and fake, and how my shirt is worth more as it's real. She says how he's sick and all, and then adds a 5 to, quote, sweeten the deal. I politely decline and say it's a £65 shirt, but if she wants it, I'll give it to her after for £55. She calls me an R-word, says it's not worth even 30, and that she is being generous. I just walk away trying to ignore her, but she calls me a P-word for staring at her daughter and storms off. Cut to people staring and have to awkwardly explain to security some random woman is calling me a P-word for no reason. Quite fun, I won't lie. Back in the day, I was really big into sneakers like Jordans and Yeezys, and I still am, but not as much as back then. Anyway, I also used to be able to tell the difference between real and fake pairs because I wanted to make sure I got the real thing and didn't get ripped off. So I get my first ever pair of Yeezys. They're real, straight from Adidas, so no worries there, and I'm very, very happy. I pull up to school the next day, and 10 minutes later, someone calls them fake. I have a feeling that in my story and OP's, both the people were just jealous. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and I'll see you next time.